What happens?
Good evening. Welcome to the December EAC monthly meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First up, approval of the minutes from last month. Anybody have any comments, questions, additions? Nope, all good. They look good to me. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Second?
Second, Dawn.
All right, all in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, minutes approved. Public comments? No public here tonight, so we'll move right along. The hope for the meeting tonight is to, I guess, do our usual, some very brief project updates, but do a little looking ahead to 2024. Jeff had suggested it's a good time maybe to do some goal setting for some of our existing and maybe past projects and just kind of set a path for next year. So that's what I'd like to try and do tonight. So, first up, we'll start with the quick project updates. Sustainability, Jeff?
Yeah, and I think it's an excellent example of what we're trying to do. So sustainability is 98.9% complete. So we're just waiting for a few outstanding items from Ryan, and this is him pulling some metrics about energy usage so we can start to compare. So, you need a baseline to say we've improved or we've not improved or whatever that it is. So he's trying to pull some things. Even if at the end of the day, if he says that I can't really get anything, it's going to mean anything, we just click no. We are still able to submit, just as long as we answer 100% of the questions. We're ready to go.
Okay.
We have achieved 41.7% of the available points to us. We needed 39. So we've crossed that plateau.
Okay.
We have clicked every box on our gold standard items. So we've crossed that. So we've met everything. We
Okay.
just need to get into, get these last couple issues either answered or not answered, and then we could submit. I think the one thing is interesting is that on the website, it does say our gold has expired,
Does it?
which I'm actually surprised about.
Okay.
So it expired on December 8th, and I just thought, well, like Ross, don't need to mean to disparage them, but I mean, I think they still have a platinum standard listed up there and haven't done anything for how many years, Jack,
Since before COVID.
Right, and I wonder if theirs says expired, but ours says expired. So
Okay.
I would like to submit and move on. So 2024, I would say that for 2023, we probably did, John doing really most of the work, we probably did 85% of the work necessary to achieve the gold standard. The last 15% for 2024 will be, hey, we didn't understand what you meant by this.
Mhm.
Hey, your documentation needs to be this. That's a no, where it should have been where you said yes, maybe should be a no, and there'll be some give and take with PA sustainability. But 15% left of the work is going to be just going to be incidentals compared to what I did in 2023. So I think sustainability will be off the table for the most part in 2024. So
Okay.
I'll give updates and say, oh, we've achieved it. By the time we achieve it, then I won't be even giving updates after that.
Okay.
The last thing about sustainability is that I will have a meeting with Brian after we achieve the gold to say, these are the requirements for platinum.
Okay.
Do you want to try to achieve them or not?
Got it.
Now, this is not a spoiler alert, but I think the hurdle to get to 50% and get to platinum standards is not something anybody's going to want to. I mean, John, you've seen some of these. These are going to be things this is with greenhouse gases and different things that would be real capital expenditures to get there.
Okay.
But I'll give Brian the option.
Right.
So, so that'll be the last thing.
It blows my mind that Ross has it, unless they've changed the standards and made them much more difficult in the
I
future.
think they.
You
they
just
did,
said,
didn't they? Yeah,
you just answered your own question.
like a year ago.
Yeah, so they changed the standards in 2019. And in a way, we should have been expired in 2022, but they gave us another year. They changed the standards in 2019. Ross is from 2015 or something,
Oh,
or
wow.
16 or 17 or something.
And ours is newer than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think the way it's geared up more to towns that can do things versus, we're a town, but we're spread out, we're rural.
Mhm.
And I think like city of Pittsburgh is very
Yeah.
different.
Way different,
Aspinwall's different.
right,
All those little communities, 78 communities. And
right,
so
yeah.
maybe they should have different standards.
Well, they do in a way. What will happen is if you answer a question and if you go down a road that you can actually achieve, say, walking or something like that or whatever, like a walking community, which we're not, then if you say yes, it'll go down and give you different questions that we wouldn't necessarily get. So they would have availability to other points based on their walking. Is the walking connecting to businesses? Do the businesses is there representation of diversity in the business community of your walking community, blah, blah, blah. It keeps sort of rolling out another question, another layer as you get into it. We don't have some of those things. So ours might be more park related, might have had additional things that other people don't have in other communities, Sewickley or something like that or whatever,
So the character of your community.
Absolutely.
It limits your choices.
It is
Yeah.
not a one size fits all.
Got it.
But
One-
it's also something you just don't want to walk away from
Mhm.
because it affects us when we go out to get grants.
Right.
What's your rating? If
Mhm.
it's not gold, then we likely might not get money for a trail or
Mhm.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Director, this is new, this is one of my qualms has always been with this. What good does it do to get the gold standard or platinum? Other than when people were going to move to McCandless, they see that we have a gold standard. But now that you're saying that it affects grants and things like that, it makes it more reasonable to do.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'd say, hey, sayonara.
I don't know if it is, if the advantage to go to platinum is that much greater whenever it comes to grants. I don't know that. I mean, somebody else would know that, but I think gold is at least a standard you sort of need to meet to be able to even apply for some of these grants.
You've done an amazing job
Oh,
and it's
thanks.
greatly
Mhm.
appreciated.
John has done, I mean,
Thanks, John.
thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
saying
you
that, but
too.
John has really done the heavy lifting.
14 months.
Yeah, yeah.
And every time this comes up, it's that kind of an effort. Now, how long, once we get this one, how long will that last? Or do we not know? They just.
Well, I would think since they did two new standards in 2019, and so they'll probably do them again in 2020. I don't want to say 4, would it be?
You'd hate to think it, because that's a big effort to have to. do
Yeah, I don't want them
every-
to be every 3 years and then all of a sudden we've got to get somebody else on this and they would,
Yeah.
if they change the goal line. But I think that they did a big job. And I don't know that they're going to do a big wholesale change again, because if you look at the
Okay.
website now compared to what it was, I mean, they probably have the prototype that they want now.
Okay, and I think part of our push initially was to get it before we knew these changes were coming. And to get our initial one in,
Yeah,
so
that-
maybe that's why we had to have such a fast
That's why
turnaround.
Shelley was
Yeah,
banging away
okay.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. I'm
Mhm.
just hoping that it's not, every third year we're having to put all this effort
Right.
into it.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so expectation for 2024 is, I believe, within the next 2 meetings, we'll say the sustainability has been complete at this point, and then it'll fall off the project list.
okay.
Who are
great.
these people? PA Sustainability
Yeah, they're PA Sustainability, and then there
do
is
they report
Pittsburgh
to?
Sustainability.
to the governor or to the,
Nonprofit.
I don't know.
They're, as far as I know, they're not really accountable to anybody. They're a non-governmental organization that came up with standards and people supported them and, it's so. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
we should come up with our own organization. We'll make our rules.
Yeah, go for that.
That's just from memory of a presentation that was done, 4 or 5 years ago. So
Mhm. Okay, no, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Amazing job, you and John, and I know Brian has had to pull a lot together too, so
And
that's.
RJ too.
And RJ,
Yep.
that's huge. Thank you. I appreciate now we know the effort for 2024 sounds like it
Mhm.
didn't be much.
Yeah, and I'm not going anywhere. So once we have to do that, then I can work with a person who does this and walk them through it. And you're gonna learn a lot from it, obviously.
Right. Great. Okay, roadside cleanups. Obviously nothing's changed since we didn't have one, but I think this is more just looking at our path forward for 2024. We set the date, that's April 20th. Is that correct?
With a rain date of 4/27.
Think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And what I think really need to set now is, I guess, who champions it from here. Obviously, we did our best to do a kind of a group effort. That's probably not the best way to hit it up. Certainly we could do that, but it seemed like somebody probably needs to be on it earlier just to line up, groups that are helping us and do that sort of thing. So, I don't know, that's my thought. Obviously we could, I'm sure, still pull something together the same way we did it this year. I don't think that's the best way to move forward with it.
Well, I think it's like anything else. Like you have people that have expertise. And I think we have expertise in understanding, since we've gone through the spreadsheets, of understanding the areas and breaking them out. And Dave Minor gave us, a great blueprint to do that. And so I think that we can do that. I think that we collectively said,
Think
okay,
we can still do it as a committee type of
absolutely.
thing.
I think where we don't have the expertise is how do we get people?
Mhm.
And how do we get Boy Scout troops or Girl Scout
Yeah.
troops or
Well-
students? This is where we don't have the expertise. This is where we're good engineers, but we're not.
Well, we
And
have
isn't
time
that
now,
for,
though.
like, activity committee, like the McCandless Activity
is-
Committee.
Yeah, this
That's,
is what
I always thought that would be something that working together with them on that.
The
I don't know that
Activities
they
Committee
see
has
their
been
role that
disbanded.
way though, but,
Okay.
It's been disbanded.
Yeah, I mean, the official committee has been disbanded. It's now an ad hoc committee. So it's only nobody applied for the positions. So it was decided on, well, we'll just make it an ad hoc
So what does that mean?
as necessary. So if we have a project, we take it to Brian and ask him to convene the activities committee to do it.
Okay.
And that doesn't seem like
Yes,
that's
sir.
gonna be.
in the
We have a
meantime, we
board
have a
chair
little
that
extra
does-
time,
Yeah,
something
we-
that
We do.
I think we always wanted to do and never got quite done, and this but did fall on me, and I think I did drop the ball, but we sort of need to get together like a master list of all the scout groups,
Yeah.
what their contacts are,
Yeah.
the various church organizations, whatnot. We've worked with different groups here and there, but we've never had, I don't believe, one big master distribution list, and it just takes a little bit of a little bit of research to get it together, but we've got a couple months here, so
Do we know what the
while things are
dates?
slow, I can at least try to get it started.
Okay, would you be willing
yeah.
then to at least get some of the early
Yes,
prep
let's
work done?
get a list going, and we'll include the of course the Impact Club folks and all that, but we do
Right.
need to have that in one place for any sort of thing where we're reaching out to volunteer groups trying to get
And
folks.
there's Archie too, whether she can, help. us
Yes,
With any of that, that's.
Archie's not here tonight, right?
She's not, I
Okay.
did not hear from her,
Oh, the
so.
Christmas tree looks great,
Yeah,
Ryan.
I know, I just
so
noticed that
nice.
after we started, I meant to compliment you on that.
Yeah,
Let's
we
take-
should
you.
work with Archie on the social media piece, because she was making some TikToks, which would be really
Right,
cute,
right.
and we've got a little time now, so maybe, okay.
Okay, so you're willing to kind of,
I'll kick off the
Get an early
email at
start on
least,
that?
and and
Okay.
get some initial research done, so.
Do you know
for-
what dates the other EACs are doing their cleanups? You know when Franklin Park is doing? it?
well, it's, because it's not necessarily the EACs that run them, it's the towns.
Oh, okay.
And then they set them up.
Cause it'd be nice if, for instance, she's contacting the churches, if we did them at the same, if we were coordinated, the churches could make announcements that, Franklin, say Orchard Hill,
Yeah,
they're Franklin Park and McCandless essentially,
Mhm.
I don't know, it's just a thought, if we
Yeah.
could coordinate dates.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where, and that's something I could always reach out to the contacts I have with the other EACs. I think I did that last year too. I have to look back at my notes. Just to see if there's, any particular dates they're all doing theirs, but I know there's still lots of things we've discussed, future plans, contests and at this point, we really haven't progressed on any of those.
So I thought maybe, just to throw this out, what if we had somebody, and this is the more difficult one. What if you had somebody sponsored? Like I know the Shorkey.
Right, you
Farms.
did bring that up.
What if I had Jim Shorkey come or Katie Shorkey and they brought swag, they brought hats or, water bottles or something like that or whatever, come,
That's what you do with 5K races is you get sponsors.
Right.
That's,
and they get a banner.
I think it's worth
And-
a try. I mean.
I mean,
it
that's
could-
one
it
thing,
could-
or we get, we have a lot of athletes in this area. Who, does anybody know of anybody, does Joey Porter live in the area, or Joey Porter Jr., or isn't Chris Hoke in the area, something like that, come meet Steeler legend, blah, 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 blah. Something like that, and we put it in and you put on a sign or something, I mean, do we think about something like that?
that's normal with most like 5K races and stuff like that.
Right.
That's a normal
Yeah,
thing is to get sponsors, like a lot of the Giant Eagles and other stores at Target and such actually have budgets to that end to help local,
But generally, yeah, if you do that, you have to have a certain type of advertisement. At the
Like
5K
on
races, it goes on the shirt,
Yeah.
it goes on signs placed at the water stations. You get some advertisement for the sponsorship.
and the
So-
money you get from them gives you enough money to have the t-shirts done.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then everybody who comes and does the thing, they get a t-shirt.
But in this case, we're not really looking to make money.
no, but you could say, you
Where-
guys could buy the snacks or something, you could buy breakfast. Shorkey, you could buy breakfast and come and you get advertising by handing out swag,
Mhm.
basically.
Good ideas.
Mhm,
And
they're
just, I
good
mean, we can
ideas.
talk about it. We have time, but we can throw it out there and we have enough time to think about
Okay.
getting somebody.
The one caution with the Boy Scout, Girl Scout and all that is their contact people change every couple of years.
Mhm,
Right.
true.
So you're aware that that's always frustrated me. I have a number
Yeah,
calling and there's,
They're, yeah,
and so that's one you have to kind of stay with.
true story. That is a good point. But getting one of these started and then, yeah, updating it periodically. We had reached out to, I forget the gal's name. Who's our activities or lady?
Angela?
Angela. I need to follow up with her about which scouts those were that attended the community day event.
yeah. And I still have I had the contact with the Brownie. group.
Brownies. Okay, I mean,
That-
note that here, so I get that from you.
Yeah, for just a little edification. We no longer have an activities committee, but we do have, the town has hired an activities person.
Oh, so is that kind of how that
Yeah,
progressed?
so
Okay.
as she needs assistance, we can touch the
Okay,
ad hoc committee to do
all right,
so
then maybe at
it-
least
it
you
might
can link
be
us.
more beneficial to us this way.
Okay, okay. Okay,
And then I would say with roadside cleanups, that obviously stays on as we, the
Yeah.
year. So the expectation is that doesn't ever expire.
Right.
Okay.
right, that keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, that works for me, but in the meantime, I still think eventually it should have a chairperson to follow it, but I get, we all have stuff going on. As we get new folks on, maybe that's something somebody will take on, but you both have experience and have worked on
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
committee that.
Yep.
that
I'm
makes
just
sense.
hesitant to take it on because I have the rain
I-
garden and I want to do
get
Potter
it.
Park.
Right. No, I understand, and
But-
I'm willing to do the logistics end
Mm-hmm.
if that helps.
And then maybe I'll just be the chair of it or something like that, just to sort of keep things.
Well, let's kind of go down through the list and see what.
Right, yep,
How that works.
right.
Okay, Brant Trail, I guess, is there any, I know it's all signed and it's advertised and, any new updates other than,
But people were complaining they couldn't find it,
yeah,
so Ken and I went out, and put big stickers out. That that our sign group made them for me. It's
Uh-huh.
the stuff that they put on metal,
uh-huh,
but we put it on guardrails.
Mhm.
And so you come around the corner, lights hit it, and it's as orange
it's
as
right at
that.
the, I've seen it,
It's a
I go home sleep for it
BP.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, so to try to
And then on the trail itself, there are
Couple
a
fingers.
couple places where people were going down into the wetland.
I was gonna say,
And
do
we-
we, do you need to put, I mean, you can't put a Rachel Carson thing up there and you can't, but you get a stencil when you know.
No, you just pile up a bunch of junk.
Yes,
so that
we
they
did.
Can't go that
Okay.
way.
You just
Just do it away.
threw a bunch of boards
Okay.
and
That's
sticks.
what they do in North Park.
When they
They're changing-
decommissioned
Yeah,
the
Yeah, okay,
trails,
yeah, you just put a bunch of junk there so that people won't go that way.
okay, yep.
Yeah, I got some emails. People got lost on that trail. It's like-
I mean, are there any, right now, are you gonna blaze it or anything, or do you think that's not necessary?
Actually, we've been trying to figure out a stencil
Mhm.
that kind of looks like that. Have you seen, you've seen the tree, right? The tree that looks like maybe it's a squirrel or something in it. So we want to come up with an urban legend about the tree and make the stencil kind of like that.
Mhm.
It's
And-
kind of a spring thing. to do.
Okay, okay, so that's something for this year is to work more, better marking it and then I guess, I know you picked up on some grants, or at least you threw some stuff out at us, or is that something that's coming up?
It's a two-step process.
Okay,
And we've applied for some grants. But first we have to do a comprehensive feasibility study for the Parks and Recreation, and we're gonna use the
Ah.
comprehensive plan for the trail piece of it. Put it together,
okay,
then we feel we'll be more successful in getting
okay, so
grant
we're
money.
still waiting for that to be done.
right.
You know, I had to step back a bit this fall because I had a lot of stuff going on.
No, it's just, once again, setting our goals for 2024, if, if we're good with that as is right now, or, plans for this coming year. Sounds like that's kind of gonna be a holding pattern now that we've got the trail in place. We wait for the town to come up with this plan before we,
Well, I mean,
Go after
it'll
grants.
just be continuous improvement. We'll get work parties to go down and,
oh, okay,
Jeff's been down there. We've made it a little safer. Tried to, pardon me,
And drier.
drier, yeah.
But the heavy lifting's been done. I mean, now it's just sort of.
It's there. It's
nipping and
just some
tucking. Yeah,
continues. There's certainly some areas where we need to do some more of that cut and fill.
Mhm.
Cut into the hillside. What do they call that, Ken?
benching.
Benching.
Yeah, bench. Yeah. Should-
Okay, so it's just kind of minor improvements and maintenance type
There's
stuff.
a lot of potential there. It's just a matter of, it will take time to
Right,
recognize it all.
Okay, but you plan to continue working with it in 2020.
Yeah, eventually I could see it
Yes.
coming up the whole valley, but we'll have to get permits. And that gets expensive and
Right.
it's time consuming and have to have town engineers involved.
Right.
So this is
We'll
just,
put that on here.
That's what we ran into
But-
the first time was we kept running into all of those issues.
But bottom line
And
though,
a
through
trail.
your guys' efforts, we have a trail.
Yes,
we do.
Where there was
Right,
no
keep
trail
running.
last year. That's amazing.
So
An incredible amount of work this year. Thank you so
a
much.
lot of nice
All,
people.
all of you guys
Yeah.
and, bringing in other folks with the trail people, and it's amazing what you were able to do in a year. So,
And we need to get it out on the apps and we need to get some flyers.
right,
So we'll work with John on that.
okay.
John doesn't have enough to do.
Right.
Okay,
I don't know how you add that, like the county has that just map. A GIS map.
So there is a town GIS map. I don't really have access to it, mostly so and such, but
But the county has.
There's
one for
a-
the whole county that when people do a
forget
trail in North Park, they can upload something that goes to it. And that's beyond me, but I don't know how, if there's something that we can do that. that
there is.
our-
I
our
can
mechan-
email John. I know what
Okay.
you're talking about. I can email John.
Okay,
Mhm. There's a
Because
way we can make
because
an
then that-
ArcGIS.
that appears on the county map. and then-
Video.
Then people that aren't from McCandless will know that it's there and can go try
Oh,
it
to
out.
get it on
you
the
know.
county. I got you.
I think
That was different than what I was thinking, but I can,
Brian O'Malley may, I'm confident that he knows how to do this, but he may not have done it because we never opened the
Park.
park because we had done extensive work down there to rebuild it and they didn't want people ruining the park before the grass took. So
Right,
it might be something we want to coordinate to happen in the springtime,
okay, so when will that park open back up?
in the spring.
So maybe we can have a grand opening of
Yes,
the trail at the same time.
absolutely. Good idea. Schedule grand opening.
Yes.
That's, sounds like great opportunity. Okay, great. All right.
That's a good.
Next, I guess deer management. Once again, little update and where we're headed in
Yeah, I-
2024.
They upgraded their report, so I decided that I would give everybody one. Yeah, we're making progress. We're getting more hunters, properties and harvesting deer and it's. What I'm most interested in is what they do here in December and January. The hunters that aren't part of Suburban that hunt between my house and the park. That seems to be when they harvest the antlerless deer is, in December and January.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making some progress. It's a matter of trying to attract more landowners that have some acreage and things. There's a couple that I want to make advances to. I'm just waiting until I see somebody outside to stop and talk with them,
Mm-hmm.
But they're doing as best they can with upgrading the hunters and moving along with the properties and things and it's a long, slow slog and we still have way too many deer.
December's a bad month because rifle season comes in. A lot of these guys go out
Mhm.
up
Oh,
in
I
the
see.
mountains and they want to go shoot a buck
Well,
rifle.
The other thing that happens is they're also required to follow the game laws. And during deer season, even if you're archery hunting, you can't be in camo and up in your tree stand. You have to have all the 100 square inches of orange
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. And two issues with that. One, deer can see the brightness of the orange. They can't see orange, but they can see the brightness. And they're pretty bright. Dumb animals, they're not. They see that orange and they go elsewhere. And the other thing is if you're doing that in a park or anything like that, people see you.
Yeah.
And people that don't realize that the people have been hunting there all fall, all of a sudden see that orange and they have a problem and then you start, so the practice in North Park has always been that when they're required to wear orange, they just don't hunt.
And in January, archery comes back in.
Okay.
But that's really sitting in a tree when it's 20 degrees outside.
Just-
That's,
Well, and
24 when I was in the tree in,
I did that twice this fall.
Yeah,
It's
this
just,
fall.
it's just,
And looking at the numbers from last year.
That's
yeah,
great.
very little harvest in December, January.
But
So
yeah.
the majority of it is September, October, November.
Yeah.
And Ryan, the numbers we're
Numbers are
looking at, it looks like there's a total of 60 deer harvested between September, October, November this year. Last year, the total for the whole year was 64, so it looks like we're real close to it, but December and January, there's not much. So it looks like we'll be pretty much on par with last year.
probably a little more.
Okay.
hopefully a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so next year, it's just the program keeps going and we just keep hoping to build on it and build on it.
It's, the big thing is we're trying to continue to do an education process and that's why the addition on the report is trying to keep the education thing out there in front of people because there's people that I talked to a couple of the homeowners associations. It's like 80% of the people will allow you to hunt, but then you have those people that are strategically in there and say no,
Yeah.
and it screws everything up. And it's
Mhm.
partly education that they don't understand the ecological damage that the excess deer population does.
Yeah.
To the woodlands and everything. So
Could you equate McCandless to Hampton in the amount of its rural property? Like, do you think that like, because I'm thinking in the community park, I've seen that posted, done the rich, like, that's posted in there. So I wonder if does Hampton get these types of numbers? Do they get more? Do they get less? Do we know?
They're significantly more rural.
Yeah, they are,
Yeah,
and
Okay,
their properties are larger.
Yeah.
Um,
The part of the problem with suburban is that their insurance is based on property. So it's very expensive for them to get into these where you have a 2 acre area to hunt.
right.
It's very prohibitive for them
Mhm.
to get in there and try to do that.
It's the same, if they go up here at Beauty Drive and they get one of the big lots up there that's 7 acres. It's that's the same cost as a quarter acre. And so, add enough quarter acres to get up to 7, and you can
Mhm.
see that just, it's exponentially more expensive.
Mhm.
okay,
Got it.
okay. All right, no. thank you very much.
Any questions or
No,
anybody?
it's
Right,
want
this
to-
is
with the
really
numbers
helpful.
you put
I've
out.
got plenty of benefit.
I'm good, thanks.
It's good if you cook it right,
You
Judy.
cook it right. Well, and what I've had to do, we've had friends with it too. My husband's not real fond of it. But if we get the ground, I mix it with hamburger to make meatloaf. And
It's, my venison is soybean all summer, corn all fall.
so it's high quality.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's what we had for active project updates right now. A little bit further down, we'll get into some of these older projects, but first we'll go through, I guess we don't have a student report unless anybody else received anything. I'm looking back through. One thing that I did, Bernie that was here last month,
Happy it's
Yeah.
coming together.
she sent me, hooked me up with. Oh, now I can't remember his name. His name was Ned. He's with, I think E-Loop is the name of the company. They do, I guess, the kind of business recycling. I can't really explain it now, but they have a place in Murraysville. And they do, and I'm sorry, I wish I'd looked this back up. They do recycling on site. They have a pretty comprehensive program out there, but anyhow, Bernie hooked me up with Ned. They seem to be willing to do tours of their facility.
Mhm.
And and he told us how many in the group, but anyhow, I gave that contact information to Archie. And I'm not sure if that fits in with what she's doing or not. But I gave her that, but that's something we certainly could look at too, as a different sort of recycling facility. It's not like Neville Island, but it sounds like it's a very interesting operation. I'm pretty sure E-Loop is the name of it. I need to send that contact out to you folks too, just to
Okay.
something to look at.
Mhm.
But that's, yeah, I sent that on to her. And otherwise, community outreach, Winterfest recap. Matt did a phenomenal job with his game show. He was well prepared. He was fully decked out in his tuxedo. And I thought he did a really, really good job.
People were interested.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
bet.
yeah.
I bet.
First of all, I'll read you his reflections. He
Okay.
sent me a little write-up. He says, overall, the event went well and the game was well received. We had some issues trying to get participants at first. We ran the show 4 times, so 12 people played. Of the 12, 2 were adults and the rest were kids. We found out when he, announced for volunteers, kids came to us.
Mhm.
Because Winterfest really was aimed at the
It is a
kids.
lot of kids, yeah.
So we went with it.
Yeah.
He had to adjust a few things and, adjust which prizes he handed out, but he went with it. But he said, given this, it makes sense to retool the questions and prizes for a younger audience and have kids play. They knew the answers and parents watched and played along with the kids. In fact, one kid had his dad with him during the game. Having the other members of the EAC work as scorekeepers and prize handlers was helpful and necessary. I recommend doing this again, and I felt it worked well and was well received. And I
Excellent.
completely agree.
Well,
Wonderful.
now we have a blueprint for our Winterfest.
Yeah. Well, and deciding if we do it at some of the other events.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the PA system I thought worked well. It was hard to tell how loud it was where we were. Well, first of all, they tried to set us up over in a back corner. And we would have been back behind like the food and Santa.
Yeah,
So Matt got us, or was that you? I
No,
don't know.
they,
You
is
got
that,
the
so you
stuff.
guys got out
We
of
ended
there?
up out right at the front door, basically. So you walked in and the DJ was off to the right and Santa and the food was on the back. We were on the left, right as you walked in the door,
Nice.
kind of right in front of the
Mhm.
train.
Mm-hmm.
So we were very visible. When he got on the PA, I talked to Leah Fulton, who works with the Latotomy folks.
Yeah.
And they were in the back. And I asked her if she heard the announcement. She's like, oh yeah, we heard him
Okay.
really well over there. So the PA worked well. I think we had spoken with the DJ just to let him know what we were doing. And he said he was gonna be happy to tone his stuff down if it,
mhm.
got in the way. So those logistical things I think worked well. Our location was good. And Matt was on it, boy. He's the showman. So,
Did we need any other activity or was that enough to say that,
well, we also had, we set up the little side table with the paper to do the
Yeah,
rep.
did anybody make any?
Yeah, some kids did, not a
Okay.
ton, because we really couldn't push it, and
Yeah.
they were a bunch of kids.
And then we didn't have a
crafts.
sign for it, so.
Yeah, there were a bunch of kids' crafts in the back, but we did catch some kids as they were waiting for the train. And we had the crayons and the paper set out and some of the bags, and they'd start coloring. And then I'd take that opportunity and go over and talk to them
Nice,
and
okay.
explain that this is for recycling wrapping paper because most wrapping paper is not recyclable. And some of the parents are like, no, really? I've been recycling that for years.
Wish cycling.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
We'll keep
and-
that too then.
And so the kids, some of the kids I explained it to were all into it. So they do gift bags and the bags that were cut up for small gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's pretty much what we did. The big paper didn't really, we just left.
Okay,
that on
good to
top.
know. So it was the bags that got used the most?
Yes.
Okay,
That was the easiest to work with, unless we somehow
Great.
tore off bigger pieces of paper, but we didn't have a ton of space.
okay.
So those small pieces work best.
Judy,
Okay.
it's good to know that it's not recycling. I didn't know that.
And it's not, some paper now is coming out. If it's the watermark on the back says recyclable, it is, but I think if that's not on it.
We
it's
might
not
want to put that in the
I was-
town crier next
I'm
year.
gonna say we could do a little social media post. I'll put a
Yeah.
little something
I
together
see
and send it to
mail
John.
tip comes
Yeah,
up.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Like mail tip for,
Especially,
Holiday stuff that's recyclable.
yeah.
Yep.
What is and what
And
isn't
what isn't.
recyclable?
God,
we can ask them to please to not wish cycle.
Right.
wish cycle.
Yeah.
I like that.
So holiday recycling tip. I mean, we could do,
Because
the whole
people
thing
are
about
gonna
the
be-
tree and-
They're gonna be beside themselves when they come down here and they find no cardboard refuse.
Yeah,
So-
how to recycle common holiday things, because I know there's those, you can recycle holiday lights at
Lowe's.
Lowe's
or
and
there's
Pine.
nothing here, but.
Yeah.
Is there,
Ace.
is there anything here? There you go. Okay, so that'll add to our
But by
list.
the
So that
time this comes out, that may be gone.
I'll do a little, oh, right, our thing we could do.
Yeah.
But maybe on our little social media post, we'll do a
But I mean,
couple
we
things
still
you
could
could
do it,
recycle for,
you
yeah,
know,
would
with
like.
on.
Post-holiday recycle tip.
People were
I
just
still think
abusing them.
that's.
We'll
They
do a little,
stack
we'll
them.
do a little,
Stuff everywhere.
social media. I'll send it to John.
Yeah. it
Okay,
was-
but anyhow, I wandered a little bit, sorry. But anyhow, that was my winter best recap. Ryan, do you have anything else you'd like to add? Cause he was there the entire time too.
No, Matt, that game was great. The kids loved it. It was the main attraction. I think we really need to have something that shows what our projects are that we're working on displayed.
Okay,
I was thinking like a large cork board, we just like pin stuff up on it, we could have a map of the trail. Just kind of show what we're doing.
Mhm.
That was the only thing I could think of. I wanted to get something done before and have it, but didn't work out.
yeah,
So
that's true, because until we started playing the game, we didn't have a whole lot to interact with the people
Mhm.
with.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, people didn't really seem to care. They were there with their kids. you know, unless we had had the craft front and center to engage them that way.
Yep.
Until we started the game, there wasn't a lot. We had some seed packets left from, I guess the last event.
Community days.
And just having those out on the table brought some people over. But yeah, I guess we still, besides the game, could use,
Anybody looking
something
for
like that.
dirt and worms?
no.
The candy bowl was a hit.
That
Kids
that's
like the
right.
can- that-
Yeah, and
Bring
so
candy
that's-
bowl, the kids will come.
That's right. Or the parents.
So the
We had
parents,
just as many adults pulling
Yeah.
candy out too. So that actually was not a bad idea at all. Oh, hi, Archie.
hi Archie.
Hi, Archie.
I am so sorry for coming in late. I was exhausted when I got home, and then I was aware of this, and then I just like did not wake up.
No problem.
No problem. We'll come back. We kind of went over your area real quick, but we'll come back to that at the end.
Okay.
Don't let me forget. Don't let me forget, okay? No, Ryan, thanks. That's a good point. I mean,
I
other
also
than,
think, the problem with the wrapping paper thing was it was dark. It was a little dark back there, so it's kind of hard to, I think if all the
Yeah.
lights were on, it would have brought more light to there, because it's kind of a dark corner. Kids go back there, they don't really know, they can't really see very well. It's not really
Yeah.
lit up, so I don't know. I think it kind of kept people away from that area.
okay,
But that was it. I think it was good. Matt did a great job.
all right. And thank you to Ryan for being there.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Sorry I bailed on you guys.
Well, you
Laura-
know, honestly,
I had the flu. It was horrible.
it's,
To have fireworks.
we only had so much space.
Yeah.
And only so much going on. I really, it was okay. Not that we wouldn't have loved to have you there. But,
I think the Lorax was still a hit.
oh,
Uh,
you're right.
Really?
It
I
There's-
really didn't think it would be. I thought there would be too much going on.
We
Nice.
just had it set off to the side of our table, but you look over there and there was almost always kids over there getting their picture taken in the Lorax. So even though we weren't even really interacting with them much, that was still really popular.
Who has the Lorax? Ryan has it?
Ryan has. the
Okay,
Lorax.
yeah,
And-
John, we're gonna be dumping that on you soon. In your closet, we're gonna be getting that to you
I'll just sit it on my desk.
post haste. Okay.
Somebody to talk to.
Yeah, that was, we weren't really quite sure what to do with them.
Who?
So Ryan has the trash
Trash
monster,
monster,
which
okay.
also was set out and people still fed the trash monster.
Okay, good.
But he was kind enough to take those home. So we
Yeah, Ryan,
find a permanent home.
really, we just need to get it here to town hall for John to store for us if
Okay,
you can run it over if you don't.
just whenever.
I mean, just during any, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woohoo, thank you, Ryan. And John.
I
Okay,
have to
so,
say, I had a lot of positive comments
oh,
to
good.
me about the EAC's booth.
Oh, great. That's
Good.
good to know. So as far as 2024 goes, I think we keep up with our National Night Out and Community Day and Winterfest. And it sounds like we, hopefully we can overlap some of the activities and
Yep.
and hopefully we've got a good base. We don't have to put a whole lot into planning, but Matt sure indicated that he's willing to keep going with
Oh,
the
that's
game
great.
show.
Yeah, that is great.
So. Okay, student outreach update. Once again, Matt's not here. We did he was contacted by. And maybe Archie, you can help me with this, that I guess there's a new Clean Waterways Club at NAI. Ooh. And they reached out to, I'm trying to follow the email chain here.
Great.
Carolyn Steele, gifted education teacher at NAI. Put Annika Reddy in touch with Matt.
Great.
So let's see. Annika has started a club here at NAI called Clean Waterways. She has a special interest in water conservation and spent some time last summer working on stream cleanup projects. Also worked on filtering water as part of her Pennsylvania Regional Science and Engineering Fair project last year. So there's basically another contact with another group.
Nice.
that, that Matt now has got contact with. So hopefully between Matt and maybe Archie, we'll see where that partnership can get us. So that's what I had for student outreach. Unless you have anything to add to that, Archie?
I think this ties in with also the next point, but for the decals, the group that you just mentioned, they put like 50 of those within a span of like 4 hours. So that's why Mrs. Lombardi just told me today, but apparently a group at NAI of sophomores and I think probably freshmen did that recently. So
Is that James, that
Yeah.
Zhao? Okay, because I wasn't sure if this was through the Interact Club. Because I printed out a copy of, they keep a Google Doc of the locations that we gave them initially. And James has probably taken care of a good third of these locations by himself. And I understand that he's used all the decals again.
Wow.
You know,
So-
do we have any way to recognize
That's
our
a-
wonderful student volunteers? Other than maybe some social, I don't know, do we do little social media thank yous or something
Yeah,
for
we could do that.
the
Okay.
wonderful work that they've done? That might be really
You know,
nice
I don't know if we can call them out by name or not.
if they're willing,
we-
if they allow us.
If
Can we
parents
do
are
that?
okay with it, it's probably fine. Like we did the same thing when the,
We could ask
there
them.
were some of the students and the troops who worked on.
Oh,
the
right,
secretary
right,
and
right.
things.
Oh, yeah, we did
Yeah.
those nice posts for those that helped clean up on didn't we post the Boy Scout troops that Ken
Mhm.
had? And yeah, that was
He
nice.
posted
I always
their
like those
pictures.
kind of
Yeah.
posts.
We could
Um,
give them recognition at a council meeting
Yeah.
too.
And probably Ricky for all the great work he did on the Brant Trail.
But we
What's
actually have
Ricky's last name?
a form,
Houghton or something like that?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Houghton.
so
Yeah,
we'll chat about that.
we
after.
should, oh yeah, we should recognize. Okay, I'm gonna make a note.
Okay. But in the meantime too, I guess I can send that out to Matt unless you know, Archie. I have plenty more decals. I gave them, you know, pretty much the numbers they asked for. But I certainly can give more. And I've also put I had put another list of new locations on more recently paved stuff that I have set up in a box to go to for Theo. If Theo is still, I have a whole package put together for him.
I thought, were you gonna contact Mrs.
I,
I thought, okay, I'll send her an email.
or-
Apologize.
or
I
did you,
thought
or
I-
did you send me the contact? I'm sorry if I missed that.
Yeah, I'll check. I'll follow up.
Because
with you.
I do
thought I
have that
did,
whole
but maybe I
Package
didn't.
for Theo
Okay.
that's ready to go.
So how much would you say, what's the percentage of completion of this project? Are we?
Well, it depends on what you consider.
how do you
completion.
define?
If it was just to do all these particular roads, it looks like 60-70%.
Wow.
That's excellent.
I still have probably 150 decals that could go out.
Mhm.
But how many grates are left?
Oh, we could find as many.
Yeah, because this is just the recently paved list,
This,
right?
this was,
For
these were
this
things
year?
paved in 2021 and 2022.
Okay.
Okay.
I did start with another list for the 2023 streets that I pulled from the town website. And there's nothing saying we can't put them on older streets. We just figured that was the best place to start.
Absolutely.
Was the newly paved stuff. As far as I'm concerned, if there, if there's people that want to put them on their streets, because we had several people mention to us at these events that we man, oh yeah, we've seen those on our streets. Those are great. So people are seeing them. If we have more decals than we have on brand spanking new paved streets, I don't care if they put them out.
Well, you raise an
Everywhere.
interesting point. So if we put these decals on streets that are not new and are yet to be paved,
Mhm,
you know, some unknown date,
mhm.
then we're wasting our time because you're wasting effort and you're wasting supplies.
Yes and no, because I still think their lifespan
There
Is
is.
great.
Well, the ones that I put out 3-4 years ago, you can no longer read. So to me, their lifespan's about 3 years.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you're putting it out on something that's not going to be touched for another 3 years or so, you're getting your money's worth out of them.
roads replaced anywhere from 10 to 17 years.
Right, right.
Okay, so this is a project that never ends.
We can go as long as we have the supply. Now, I don't know if we have any plans to buy any more supplies, but we still have enough here to keep kids busy for
Okay.
probably another year or two.
Okay.
And if we get to that, and it might make sense to talk about getting some like metal.
Yes,
ones
Jack,
that will
Jack had found some nice metal sewer decals that are a lot more sustainable. That we
right.
might want to think about
Mhm.
going forward.
And they're not plastic,
What'd you say?
They're not
not
plastic.
plastic.
Okay,
So that is the update on the catch basin. So I'll continue to work with Matt, Archie. See how Theo does. To at least put out all the labels that we have. Okay, next I was going to, I guess, go through. Every month when I put the agenda together, I have a kind of a short running list of things that have been on our agendas over the past year or two that aren't active for discussion at that meeting, but I try not to forget about them. So that's what several of these items are. It was,
Thank you.
and I'm sorry, I think I sent out an updated agenda to you guys in the past few days that has the second page on it. So if you have the agenda I sent out, it's got there's 7 items saying that says potential and ongoing projects for 2024. So I just wanted to do a real quick rundown these, not spend a ton of time, just gauge how important we think they are. Is there somebody that wants to champion them and keep going with it? Or is this something we think has run its course and we can just take it off our list? So I don't intend to have any long discussions on these. Let's just say, do we want to keep them on our radar or not? Okay. And the first thing I had on that list was recycling outreach. And I did kind of put these in order of priority. So the ones on the top, I really expect that we'll keep going with. Recycling outreach was one of the top things I know.
Yep.
We need to keep going with.
yeah, so if we're looking for volunteers, I'd like, since sustainability is 85% complete.
Mhm.
I would like to be involved in it because I think we part of our service to the community is to bring facts and just like Matt did with the Winterfest recycling knowledge, information, tips.
Mhm.
And I think we're missing that. And so I would like that to be on the top of the list, and I'd like to be involved in that.
Okay. So I guess once you get the sustainability kind of wrapped up, let me know. We'll get it back on the agenda. You can put some goals together,
Yeah,
but
Yep.
just let us know when you want to put it back on the agenda and we'll keep going.
Okay,
But
good.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I agree that's something, and that may be something we can even roll into item number 2, which is speaker events, which we did on a more regular basis several years ago. COVID kind of slowed that down. We picked up with I'm blanking on his name.
Tony.
Tony, thank you.
Mhm.
That Tony kind of took that and went with it because he has contacts at the universities and had some speaker events put together. Putting these together actually is really fairly simple. Even though I'm not sure if we still have the same kind of contact at the Heritage Center, because that partnership really helped us out a lot.
That
But-
did, although I was gonna say, if we're looking to offload this, and I don't know if we are, to the extent that the Heritage Center is gonna continue to host people, maybe we could just help consult on some environmental speakers
Yeah,
periodically,
and that's kind of how
to
it's
sort of help.
right, and that's how it's kind of
If you wanna-
evolved. Tony would bring some folks in, but all we did, we'd contact Katie Coleman at the library because we still partner with them, and they helped with publicity and signups and registration. And then the Heritage Center had the facilities and they also helped us with publicity. So really, it's just a matter of coming up with topics and pulling a couple of speakers together. And, but it's more generating the ideas and doing the legwork to get the speakers, and then the thing kind of takes care of itself. Because we do have these other resources set up. So
One could be done on deer.
I was just gonna say
Well,
that,
yeah,
Jack. I
that
was
was-
just gonna ask.
that was one of
Ken, if
our
there's-
original, that was one of our original ones.
Yeah, if we
I know
could
Ken
have
put
somebody
something
come.
together that I think might still be on YouTube, but
And there's several that, in fact, that we've done Dare to be Tick Aware. We've done that twice. There's some things, we've done composting. There's several things that we did 4 or 5 years ago that we easily could go back and do again.
we could talk about how people could control their stream banks, because people want to run grass right up to their.
Right, and that's something,
Yeah,
Riparian vegetation.
Yeah,
we can get, well, I can do it, or any one of the watershed stewards. I can get a Penn State's person to do that.
well, and we
speaker
did try
series.
and partner with NAEC at one point
Mhm.
to do that, and that kind of fell apart in COVID times. We,
And I'm not sure, they've been going through some structural problems.
right, so that,
But we
we
can,
never
I
were
can
able
do it,
to
or
get
we
that
can get
going.
a steward, but
So,
we should
but-
do a stream bank.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is
homeowners.
that
I
we
want to keep it.
we agree that this is an important part of the
Of what we
EAC
do.
and something that we are
Agree.
now missing.
yes,
And
We
public
just don't-
education,
Hmm?
Got town
Public
hall.
education.
Exactly, but we don't have a single person on our committee
Mm-mm.
that looks like an obvious representative though.
Right,
So you
and-
don't have a
and-
Tony.
and when we started, Angela on the committee was this was her thing, and she had it in her mind, it was a quarterly thing.
Mhm.
And it was called the Speaker Series. And then when she moved on to town council, I kind of kept going with a few of the ones she had already set up. But then, it kind of fell away for me as far as that goes. So you could look at it as, do we want to try and do something regular, or do we just, maybe once or twice a year, we come up with some idea, but somebody kind of has to keep it rolling.
Right.
Otherwise, it's really easy to forget.
So my question would be, what would be, what number would you consider success? 3 in 1 year? And
I-
you can't have them every month.
Honestly, 2 a year.
Okay, so 2 a
is-
year. So we
works
need,
for
we
me.
need 2 a year.
Mhm.
Okay, so.
I
since-
think the deer issue is a good one, a very good one.
Yeah.
To have someone come,
So right
especially
now,
with our successes. I mean, we're getting the numbers up. Might as well keep it going.
yeah,
maybe it's a good way for us to sell additional properties too.
that'd be great.
Get people to put their property in,
Oh, yeah.
we could maybe.
Right.
Earmark the people that there's probably 30, maybe properties that are 7 acres or more. And we could send a letter and try to invite them in and use it as a sales opportunity.
But
A lot of it is just lack of really understanding what's going on, So public education is a big part of it, just like with
Yeah.
recycling, people don't understand what's
Right,
going on
it's-
there.
that's why it's important and inherited us to do this, but since we don't have we have a champion right now for recycling, I'm saying, okay, but we don't have
We
this sort
don't.
of speaker, but we agree it should be there, so.
right.
Until we hear about the EAC open position, maybe we just sort of, maybe we just
Somebody's-
table
yeah.
this one just for a minute and say. It's gonna find a home, it has to find a home,
Mhm.
we just don't know where it is quite yet.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so we keep it on there.
Mhm.
Light pollution, education and outreach. We're looking at Ryan. And I know that's something you've brought up that you're passionate about. So we need to think about where we go with it in 2024. Is that something you want to continue to lead?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
important. I've been thinking of what to do and how to get it across. So I hope to work on some stuff during the Christmas break.
Okay,
And have, I know, Dawn, you mentioned social media posts and so, yeah, making some graphics. Ultimately, I would love to do a diorama of bad lighting and good lighting. To display at booths or our tables,
okay.
but that's a big project. And I don't know, we'll see, but that would be great, but for now, just
Like a diorama.
getting some information, not making it too nerdy, I guess, for lack of
Right.
too much information, which I tend to do. And try to get into like the science, but so yeah, that's
Okay.
hopefully I'll have something in January. We
No,
can
that's
start
fine.
looking at.
And when you do, just let me know and I'll put it on the agenda.
Okay,
You could also consider too, if in your research, you make contact with people that could potentially even put some sort of a speaker event together.
There you go. That's speaker
I
number two,
wouldn't
we're
even know
done.
where to start with that, whether there's, academic folks out there. They're always asked.
I know
Somebody,
one of these websites, they said they'd come and talk to your town council
okay,
about but I don't know how.
Sometimes they have a presentation.
yeah, whether.
I forget what that was, and I'll
Whether
have to
that's
look into
aimed
that.
at ordinances or information, probably hard to say, but they may have programs that we could put out there for information and education.
And it's one of the things that I thought would make sense is like a handout or a small placard that can be put in some of the local stores and things where people are buying lights so that they know what's appropriate to buy for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I still think. that's
Most
an
of us
important
don't really
part.
understand what
We don't.
lumens are and,
No,
and all the different
Warm, bright.
kinds
blah,
of
blah, blah,
light
blah,
and
blah,
stuff.
blah.
I thought lumens came from a Lorax.
But I think that something like that, like in where, like a Lowe's or a Home Depot or Giant Eagle or whatever, wherever light bulbs are sold, I think that they would probably, we can advertise, McCandless Environmental Advisory Committee and put that there to help consumers
That's a good idea.
purchase the
Wow.
correct product.
great idea.
So that you get rid of the light pollution from those really bright lights that people have outside.
Yeah, that shine down the hill and. into
That'd be
the
something
parking
to
lot.
do with NAC, because Ross could do it at Home Depot and Hampton could do it the Home Depot they have over here, and we could do it at Lowe's. A good joint,
Do good.
quick joint venture.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, then we'll keep that on the list and you let us know when you'd like it to appear on the agenda.
All right.
All right, next on the list, Lanternfly outreach. I know that's something we've just kind of mentioned in passing, whether there's anything for us to continue with in
It-
2024.
It's like,
I don't think.
when the entomologists get back out here that, because that's been state and federal entomologists and then, a bit with in North Park. And I think there's some changes in personnel that are gonna be happening there too, but, I'll try to stay on top of that if there's anything that we can do. I know the foresters that I know, they're required to take classes and make reports, but then it just seems to go in there and they don't hear anything more on it. So I'm not sure that there's anything we can do other than maybe educating people about like, the tree of heaven attracting them and so forth. I guess other areas like Westview and places like that, I guess I was surprised at the number of lanternflies people were, having to deal with.
Mhm.
And we didn't have anything like that out here, so.
But they also said they're not doing as much damage as they had anticipated.
Right.
So that's a good thing.
That's a good.
My
thing.
experience with these different critters is going back to gypsy moth. I mean, when they first came through, they were defoliating areas. I literally slid through intersections, with a stop sign because there were so many caterpillars on the road. You just slid through.
No,
You look up at the sky, a nice blue sky, and you got caterpillar dung in your eyes and over a period of less than 10 years, the birds understood that they could eat the caterpillars and the chipmunks understood they could eat the egg masses. And they become part of the ecosystem.
Mhm.
I'm hoping like the stilt grass has that happen to it, and I'm hoping lanternfly will have that happen to it.
Mhm.
But that's one of those things you have to have the patience to let that work.
Right,
through.
and I've been reading that too, that, yeah, that different predators realize and
Takes time.
Okay, but in the meantime, so you want us to, that's just something you'll kind of keep an eye on
I'll-
and bring it up as necessary.
Yeah, I'll touch base with them as they're not gonna be around until like May or something anyway, so.
But once again, it's not something that will show up on our agenda. If something comes up, let me know.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Next, North Hills EAC networking events, and that's something that was pretty much me there for a summer or two. We had one event in May this year, and then I think it kind of fell off. I for the first year and a half or so, I regularly followed up with the group. Do we want to meet again? Who'd like to host?
Mhm.
And so we went through, we hosted an event, Ross hosted an event, Hampton hosted an event in the
Mhm.
spring, and then I didn't do any additional follow-up and really didn't hear from anybody else. So that was pretty much my ball that I dropped.
I'm
I
not
still-
sure I would say, I mean,
Yeah,
they-
I was
they
gonna
did
say-
3 a year, if our,
Well, that was 3 and 2. It was like 2 the
Region.
first year and then 1.
Yeah, and
If we do 1 a year, maybe.
I think one a
I'll go
year
for
might
one a
be
year.
better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
is
still.
nice to know what everybody's doing,
Yeah.
but probably more than that is probably too much for everybody, given all that
And I
we all
think-
have to do.
And I think the first year, everybody was happy to make the connection.
Yes.
So having 2 events the first year it made sense.
Mhm.
And then I think we realized, okay, we've made the connections and we had our meeting. And yeah, everybody's good. We know who you are. We know what you're doing.
And who to
We
contact.
know who to
Yeah,
contact.
so it was
okay.
good networking for sure, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once
I
a year
think
is
it's,
good.
and if you hear new ones, you just expose us to them and that's.
Okay, so
Okay,
then
I like it.
I'll keep that on my radar for the spring.
Mhm.
Reach back out, or do we still have all the correct contacts? If not, please update the contacts and maybe,
And if we
have
do
to get
get together this year, maybe, it might be nice for Ryan to talk on light pollution and see what, because that's the one thing I don't think we know what the other EACs are doing, or
That's
I
a
don't
good
think
point.
they are doing anything.
okay,
So to Jack's point, to the extent that there's a collaboration available.
Maybe we could do a
For,
WhatsApp with all these different committees and just kind of have some,
look at you, WhatsApp. Look
Pardon
at
me?
you, look at you, WhatsApping.
well,
it
and,
just is an idea to be able to just
Yeah.
reach out
right.
in case
well,
anybody has a question.
And Tony had started, he actually put together the initial list and had he put it on a one page.
Spreadsheet.
My
one-
brain is just fried tonight.
Excel
On a
spreadsheet.
OneDrive or
Yes.
OneNote or.
Enough ideas.
Yeah, someone,
Um,
something.
But he had a page up, like a Google Doc type of thing.
Oh, right, uh-huh.
But then he, shortly after that, he left the group, so I
Mm.
doubt that's still there. So there's always that thought, but.
Well,
in the
we should
meantime,
pull it over onto our SharePoint site as well. We should have
SharePoint,
that not
thank
on
you.
Google.
That's what I want.
Oh, it was on the
Tony
SharePoint,
set,
okay.
he
But
set up
Tony-
his
Tony
own
might have done it
SharePoint.
in, I think he did it in Google, not on SharePoint, maybe, yeah.
But he
He
did
was a
something.
Googler.
I only made one meeting,
did
but the
too.
one meeting
Google
I made
Docs.
enough contacts
Mhm.
that number one, I learned how to appropriately apply for trail money.
Mhm.
And I also
Yeah,
took somebody that is an environmental engineer for a walk to find out where we had to avoid and how we could build the trail without getting
Yeah.
ourselves sideways with the DEP or whatever
Right, right.
organization. So it was very beneficial
You
to
got
me.
your money's worth.
mhm.
Yeah,
Good, and so that sounds good. Once a year.
Yeah.
Touch base and, maybe meet and talk
you
and,
can down to Wall Trail and go on a hike.
well, there's a
have a
pavilion down
picnic
there,
at the
isn't
end.
there?
There is.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd
We
be-
could do it there, because
really
there is
good.
that nice little pavilion
We're
facility.
looking for a way to connect
Let's
into,
totally do that. I love it.
we could connect to Ross down there and we can connect into Franklin Park and to Ohio Town.
Well,
go
do we
over
just
there.
invite them to the grand opening event? As
Yeah,
We could do that
The
too.
other EACs and consider that a check. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
check.
Check.
All right. I will keep that on my radar.
Whoop, whoop.
Next item was the stream cleanup. Is that something that? Once, you started digging into it and realizing what was
Well-
required, do we still
I tell you,
follow that?
go ahead. If you're still interested, Jack, I think what we do is we contact this Anika Annika at Clean Waterways
Yeah.
Club. And we
Wow.
get them to spearhead it and we say we'll help support it.
We have the town doing a, what is it, PPP,
What are we doing?
pollution reduction plan. We're gonna do it, there's an acronym for it. There's an acronym. for
Oh,
everything in
this-
Government.
Oh,
But what we're gonna do is
That
we're
stormwater
coming in
thing?
with the town engineers. And they're
Right,
going
right.
to peel back the entire stream banks. And plant certain vegetation,
Wow.
put in logs and we're it's all part, what, John, what's
this-
the name?
It's PRP, right?
PRP,
Yeah.
pollution reduction plan.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
okay, so check.
I'm not exactly sure the entire length, but at the
Oh,
same
this is that
time,
Army Corps.
there's a significant amount of Japanese knotweed down there.
Yes.
And that'd probably be a good place to start figuring out what we can do for the town. So maybe we get volunteers to just go in and pull all that stuff out. I don't
Yeah,
know
well,
if there's,
Well, yeah, there's the Plum Shade Tree Commission did an extensive knotweed removal, and what they learned after a number of trial and error seasons was whack it all down when it's young and keep at that, and you kill the root. You can do the herbicide if you want. Once you whack it, you shoot it into the stalk.
What
But
what a lot of the.
yeah, we could get volunteers, we totally could.
What a lot of the conservation groups did with the different, like Allegheny Land Trust and stuff like that, they cut it in June and then in August, they spray it with
Yeah,
Roundup.
you can't let it flower is the,
And so like I actually did that on a section over here, if you're going up, if you cross the bridge here, going up to the ball field, the right-hand side there from the bridge up to the ball field, I did that. You know, the township had cut it and then I went in there in August and sprayed it with Roundup.
Okay,
So
well,
you'll be able to see how well that did.
wasn't the original idea that the stream cleanup was actually cleaning the trash out,
that's
right?
correct.
Okay. So is that something that we think is still on our radar for future or that?
I
wasn't
think we're gonna
really-
table that for now, just, I don't know, unless you,
Well, they're doing the PRP project
Right.
in there, so
Yeah,
they're,
so
they're gonna come
that
in
needs to happen
Okay.
and
with
then
equipment
Okay.
and effectively.
clean it.
clean
And
it up.
where does that happen? Just along the town's frontage here or?
Well, the town owns from Oak Ridge all the way down to Vestal. This
All
is,
up there too?
it's
okay.
up there. And that's where the PRP project is gonna be.
Okay,
That's,
okay.
that was where we were talking about
Okay,
doing the cleanup in
Although,
that area.
you know, I think when we were talking about doing the cleanup, one of the steps that we needed to do is to sort of get our eyes on. I mean, there's the Pine Creek section, but there are other streams, you know, in
Mhm.
the town, and we need to get our eyes on those and sort of determine where the areas of need were. And we don't have capacity for that right now, I don't think, not this year.
Yeah.
I don't see
We
it
could get our
happening.
boots on and go for some hikes.
Unless we can get, well, yeah, but we've got some other goals here, you know, unless Annika is, wanting to.
well, I
The
know.
Clean Water
it's been-
Club.
Yeah,
Waterways
it's just
Club
that
wants to.
after you guys looked at it, just the logistics of
It's-
getting into the water and doing this seemed to be
It-
something.
And we,
It's,
above our
yeah,
heads.
we still needed a lot of boots on the ground before we were ready to
Right.
do anything, and
So, yeah, my thinking is that
we need to
that comes
hold.
off of our list right
I
now.
think for now,
Mhm.
Okay,
if you don't mind, I
Mhm.
just,
Nope.
I think there's low hanging fruit that. You know, we've got limited resources.
unless someone
so-
new comes in and that's their champion and
Right.
we go with it.
Project we were talking about.
And the last item on the list was the landscape planting guide, and that's been on my plate for about 2 years now. To get in there and
Any way
update
I
that
can
and that,
help with that, let me know.
okay, no, but that's. That's. a
We
goal.
actually have that in our ordinances to refer.
Yes,
to
we do.
refer To that.
So
Yeah.
it needs
So
to be
it's,
beefed up.
it's not important.
Yeah.
It's very important
Right.
and I'd like it to actually be more meaningful than it is in its current state.
I think Bob down at Best Feeds would be an enormous
Mm-hmm.
And honestly,
opportunity for somebody
Judy,
to speak to.
I could do that off the top of my head. but
Cause there's bushes that
We should just chat about it sometime.
Okay,
we
all
could
right.
what?
I was just telling Judy, I should chat with her about the guide sometime because I'm
Cause it's
got some stuff
started.
off the,
There's a framework there. We just need
Yeah,
to expand
we
on
need to
it.
expand on it.
And I had also talked a couple times with Donna Raddick. And she was very willing to help me and I just.
We
let it
just need to
drop,
get
so.
an email. I bet you really just get an email chain going with Donna and we could get you what you needed.
Which, oh yeah, in fact,
update
she gave me, I have all the resources really that
Yeah.
I need. It just needs to be expanded
Putting it together, yeah.
and critiqued and, that sort of thing, so.
Well, the
someone
good
other
news
than
is
me.
the state agriculture department does go around and work with these nurseries
Mhm.
to tell them what they can and cannot, and they do restrict them, and so
Mhm.
it's not like people can be able to buy a lot of stuff that they're not allowed to buy, because our agriculture department's on it.
Okay, and that's, if we just sat down one day and looked at what I had and the resources I have, just figure out.
What
how
you need to do is
how
figure out what's deer resistant.
Well, and we tried to put that on there, but Kendall.
Deer
explained to me
resistant
that
is different things in different places though.
Yeah.
It depends on how hungry they are.
Right,
You know,
Yeah.
it depends.
right.
And some,
It's like,
some of the stuff is just not planting red oaks underneath utility lines.
Yeah,
So, yeah, the current guide has an area, a column for deer resistance.
Yeah.
And we tried to address that with this.
Stuff that they didn't need 20 years ago, they
Eating
eat
now.
now and it.
Yeah,
it's a true
they're
story.
adapting.
so
and-
that's what I had on the list and
Well,
I don't know if anybody has
I
more
do.
to add. Okay.
Well, I don't think, so the rain garden wasn't on the current list, but it's on the ongoing. I do intend to continue to push that.
Okay,
In 2024.
okay.
And special thanks to Joanne for
Yes, yeah.
donating time.
Huge infusion of irises in the fall there that she
Right.
gave us.
And I'm
Huge.
sorry that fell off this list. It used to be on there.
That's okay. We weren't doing updates. It's
It-
fine.
It
It's
was on
fine.
there, so.
But that's
Put that back on
still
there.
gonna be a thing. I still want to
Okay.
champion that in 2024. And I'm hoping in 2024, something I intended to do, but ran out of steam was just, some improvements at Potter Park. Maybe getting one or two volunteer groups out, just to do some invasive removal and things like that.
Mhm.
There's a few sections on the back end where we could, expand the bench a little bit and clean up some fallen trees and whatnot with some volunteer groups. So I'd like to see Potter Park get a little love in 2024,
I will
if I can.
add that to my ongoing list.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was just my
Very good.
addition. I'm done then.
Does anybody else have something that either I've missed in the discussion or that you've been thinking about and would like us to, put on our radar? I know we've got a lot.
I think that's aggressive.
There's only
I think
six
it
of us
is.
here.
2023, we accomplished so much in 2023. If we can accomplish or at least have these things ongoing and have life, that's a major accomplishment for this group.
Yeah, I think everything in 2023 saw growth. Everything we've worked
Mhm.
on.
Right,
we-
and our
They
community.
it further.
Double our
I
salary.
said, there you go.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm the only one here that gets paid.
They'll definitely double our salaries, Ken.
Yeah.
Mine's only $600 a quarter.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, well, thanks for all the input with that. I think that'll help guide us for the next year. And from here on out too, I will roll some of this stuff up into my 2023 annual report and goals for next year. Which I will work on here hopefully in the next month. All right, miscellaneous, January McMail tips. Does it sound like we're thinking post-holiday recycling tips?
Be
Pre-holiday.
too
would
late
be
at that
better.
point.
Yeah, it's too
You
late.
think so?
No.
Everybody's already thrown all their
It's gonna
recycling.
be-
It's still,
It's gonna be like between Christmas and New Year's
Yeah.
Day when this comes out.
Okay.
so People are still gonna be throwing stuff
I don't
out.
think that's bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
Okay.
Be great timing then.
I haven't done one in a while.
All right, Judy.
I'll jump.
We're
into
not gonna
that one.
fight you.
I know.
Okay, if you have to.
Oh, shucks.
All right, when do you need that, John?
Maybe the 27th.
Okay. I'm not traveling this year, so there's no excuse for me to not do that. All right, any update on the open position? I just kind of assumed with the holidays, we put off.
Actually, I finally started advertising because things.
Oh,
stopped
did you?
moving up. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Deadline is gonna be January 12th, so if you guys are aware of anyone who may be interested, you know.
Yeah, okay.
If not, we're still gonna do public advertising for the years.
I ran into a guy on the trail and had a great conversation, and I cannot remember his name. He was interested. It's just
Do you remember where he lived?
in Ingomar.
Yeah, I was hoping for the litter, just if nothing else, to try to get people interested in the EAC and and advertise the open position to the 30 people that showed up and you know, these are some of the things that we do, and
Mhm.
this is just one of the 7 things that that we work on, and we have an open position, and if you like this stuff, come and, join. So
Mhm.
just word of mouth, but I'd love to see another person get on here.
Yeah, and we will.
Okay.
And I have the name of a woman I met at the speaker thing that from May. She expressed an interest back then, and I forgot to contact her in the last period, so I do have
Oh,
her
we
card.
got a
I can
deadline
reach
now.
out.
Yeah.
So we'll
And
get some.
your neighbor friend,
And Bernie.
yeah,
So I have a feeling if we didn't have somebody, anybody else apply, we might be able to rope her in,
mm-hmm.
but
Who's Bernie?
That would be-
she came to our last meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I wasn't here. I didn't-
She worked with the city of Pittsburgh on a number of big projects.
She has just a very vast
Knowledge.
Yeah.
knowledge and
Really be
experience
helpful.
between grants and
That'd be
sustainability and
great.
working with governments and that. And she came to the meeting and talked to us. She had reached out to Brian and looking for, I think she maybe had applied to another position and Brian,
Technology Committee.
technology and
We did the same thing as we did to the Activities Committee. That's sunsetted, and it's gonna be
okay.
an ad hoc committee as necessary.
Okay, and Brian put her in touch with me.
Oh, good.
And I, had a good conversation, realized she lived down the street, she's friends of friends and. But she's very happy to be a resource for us, because she does that stuff for a living, she's not quite sure that. She necessarily wants to be a part of the committee, but she's happy to be a resource. Okay, open position. I had on here EAC Network Conference. Okay, I know why I had that. I think I sent the email out. The folks that run the conference, I guess they do some lightning presentations. Oh, I had printed that out. And they were looking for reaching out. I think they're reaching out to various EACs for people interested in submitting a proposal to do very quick lightning sessions during this conference. 5 to 8 minute presentations, including 3 to 5 slides. Roughly 6 presentations will be selected for inclusion on the agenda. Lightning session topics could include, but are not limited to, recent EAC project success stories, highlights of your current EAC priorities, newer innovative ideas, anything that we think or basically that somebody's willing to present.
Mhm.
But right now they are just taking proposals. So there's no guarantee that you would be chosen. But the main thing is that whatever idea we would present, if we did that, somebody has to be willing to attend the conference. and
Where's the
present.
conference?
It's virtual. It's Saturday, February the 24th. I think Matt had responded to me after I sent this out and thought he brought up the idea of just our outreach with the game.
Well, I was just gonna say, one thing that I've researched and not found a lot of resources for is tabling of activities for EAC,
Okay,
EAC. So, and each time I've attended that network, each February, I've zoomed in. You guys always pay for me to zoom in.
mhm.
There's never been any speaker about that, so that would be great if he could, and even I think even just going into all the different things that we do for Community Day, the Nights Out thing, and Winterfest, the
Yeah.
Dirt Cups are great. I think that's
Right.
on brand for what EACs are
Okay,
doing, and
well, that would be, whether you talk to Matt, I
Yeah.
am out of town on the 24th. I am unavailable for that. So if we have a member that would like to put a quick proposal together and be willing to present, I think that would be
Is Matt willing
fantastic.
to present? He likes
He
to
sounds
present,
like he
doesn't
may be.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's
like
a
he-
fish on line right there.
I'll help.
He's not here with
I'll
us.
make
Yes.
it.
All in favor?
I'll make his slides if he's gonna present.
But what this does not have on here is a deadline. So maybe I reach back out to Carolyn and find out what her deadline is. And I can get in touch with Matt and copy you,
Okay.
because that would be great to get ourselves.
It
out
really
there,
would.
But
That's
it's
a good point.
Because
But it-
another thing too, I'll tell you, is it's always the eastern part of
exactly.
the state EACs that are always presenting. There was one Cranberry person one year,
Mm-hmm.
and the
If-
other year there were no Southwestern representatives.
Eastern Pennsylvania has been doing a lot of this.
Yeah.
I find the
Yeah.
same thing with American Chestnut Foundation and stuff. There's just a lot more
Yep.
out there than there is on this side of Harrisburg.
And they're doing incredible things out there. I think a lot.
They
of
really,
them are-
their memberships are huge. They've got
Yeah.
like,
And there's communities out there with a lot of money.
Yep.
To do some really cool things. So if somebody from the western part of the state could get in on this, I think that would be great. I can't personally do it. All right, I'll make that contact. All right, that's what I have. Archie, I'm gonna throw back to you a little bit. I had mentioned earlier that I had to contact, Ned from, was it E-Loop? That did the potential recycling facility tours, whether that's something that you can work with or not. This group sounds like it might be interested, so I'll keep his contact information. But I didn't know if you had anything else to report on this month.
Thank you. So I did want to discuss like the decal thing, but since we've already gone through that, I think that's basically like the major point. I reached
Okay.
out to that individual. I've yet to hear back from him, but that is kind of part of my project on recycling and for studying recycling and what it does. I'll probably have like the question and like a general concept of what I'm doing by January. If that's okay.
Okay.
Just where like I'm studying recycling. I think I'm gonna also try surveying different communities and seeing like how much they recycle, what they believe about recycling to kind of like get an idea of what our community looks like in general, just from my perspective. And then after looking at this recycling tour and also these other sources, I think I can combine that to find a potential solution on how people can actively be aware and be educated on recycling and what they can do to, I guess, work with that.
Okay. And Jeff, as you're gonna jump back into more recycling,
Mhm.
maybe that's an opportunity to you two potentially work together too.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. So 100%, if you take any type of tour or any type of contact, please copy me on it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Archie. And report from town council, anything new, Jack?
Not much.
Okay.
We appointed somebody to the McCandless Township Sanitary Authority and a few other boards. We have a couple more positions to fill in the Personnel Board, EAC, as well as Personnel Board.
Mm-hmm.
So we're continuing to fill up all the positions, so we start the year with everything filled.
Okay. Any other, I guess we pretty much, discussed topics for further consideration. Just as a matter of business, I will not be at the January meeting. I will be out of town. With my ski travels this winter, that should be the only one I miss. All the rest of my trips are
Golly.
so. But I
I
will
see
miss that
people
one.
there.
So obviously, Jeff, I'll work with you
Okay,
in the
good.
lead up to that.
Yep.
To put the agenda together.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Jeff's gonna
pass.
lead the
Excuse me?
monkeys.
Did you get the Epic Pass?
I have
Take
the
the training wheels off.
Pardon me?
Icon Pass.
Icon Pass, okay.
And I have a small scale Epic just to use at Hidden Valley and Devon Spring. That's the only way to afford it anymore.
Yeah,
So-
it's crazy.
But if no one has anything else, happy holidays.
Mhm.
I said, Brian, I love your,
Everybody.
your backdrop and, I hope everyone has a really safe and happy holiday season.
Yeah. Great year for the
Likewise.
EAC.
Very good year.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your dedication and your hard work.
Yeah, thank you,
And you
Jack.
too, Jack.
Mhm.
Well, you put in a ton this year too, so.
Best councilman ever.
We'll keep you.
What we have in that bottle?
All right, I guess we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much. Good night.
Great.
Happy
Night.
holidays.
Thank you, Judy.
CRT's